Jersey on your right, town of Weehawken. You're going to notice a pier here on your left, Pier 76, with the open garage doors. Now this is probably the most important pier. It's New York, right? Now behind there, the big black glass building is Jacob Javits Convention Center. Approaching a neighborhood in Chelsea now at West 23rd Street and Chelsea. In the background, you find a bowling alley, gymnastic center, clubhouse for kids, batting cages, restaurants, and marinas. Very popular family place to come down and entertain your kids and your family all day. The pier with the huge net all the way around it is one of the most historic piers in America. This is the exact pier that the Titanic survivors came into April of 1912 on a ship called the Carpathia. There were thousands of people waiting to greet them on this pier back in April of 1912. Take a good look. Today it's something very different. It is a golf driving range.
Oh, wow.
4 levels, people hitting golf balls off the end of the pier. The mosaic window type built by White Star, Kennard. If you look to the back of the pier, you'll see a rusty iron arch. It still says Kennard on that arch near the highway on the back of the pier. They owned the Titanic, so that would have been the Titanic's destination. Across the river on the right, Jersey City, New Jersey. New within the last decade or more, 10 to 15 years ago, most of those buildings were not standing. You'll see a tower on the end of the pier to your right. If you look to your left, you'll see a big tower here on the end of the pier. These are air ventilation towers for the very first underwater tunnel over the water for automobiles, opened back in 1927, so on Memorial Day, named after Coulter's Hall, the architect who designed it 100 years ago. On your left, in a moment, we'll take a look at the neighborhood of Tribeca, and Battery Park City, and then when they built the original 2 twin towers years ago, they took all the earth and stone, filling in the... View there, a nice photograph of all of Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, the Brooklyn Bridge. And we're going to come around and have one more look at the statue.
Whoops. They've been tearing down some of the old houses.
The white cherry book going in there. The building behind it was a waffle iron-shaped window, number 1 New York Times. Should be sailing up the East River now. Straight off the front of the boat is Brooklyn. To your right, on your left, Lower Manhattan, Lower East Side, and Brooklyn. We have another shipping terminal on your right for the container cargo ships and some of our cruise ships. That's a commuter water taxi service terminal servicing Wall Street. People access to use in and out of Wall Street for water taxis to the South Shore. Monthly taxis here on your left will open straight from the taxi to the home taxi. Over here at the right, we'll be in Brooklyn, New York. Apartment store. Tallest building in the world when it opened in 1913, only 60 stories. In front of it, the steel twisting tower built by Frank Gehry is the tallest apartment in New York City. Gehry Tower opened about a year ago. Sailing under the Brooklyn Bridge, considered a masterpiece of architectural engineering to the left of the Brooklyn. Brooklyn Bridge opened in 1883, designed by a German immigrant, John Goldberg. There is a walkway called the automobile. You can ride your bike. To your right, Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn. Underneath the bridge, you'll see a little park with a steps and a beach coming down. That is World War II. Historically, in our country, this is where we behind it, the General Assembly Hall, where the United Nations meets. You'll see on your left, these old apartment buildings. This is what's known as the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Some of the most expensive smallpox patients in there, and years ago, it's what's left of the building. It's a landmark structure. They're not allowed to tear it down. Over Roosevelt Island, over to Queens in the distance. And there's a cable car that, and we'll see if we can see the tramway. The cable car may or may not be crossing as we sail underneath the bridge. Queens go over it. Here on your left is the beginning of what's known as Hospital Row. There's an animal medical center there on your left. Exclusive, expensive hospital for your cat or your dog or your animal. Get a private room for your pet. State of the art. Is where the airplane crashed into at the top of it. They were flying in the same direction we were. They tried to make a turn and somehow got caught between the buildings. And the woman in the apartment was at work, but marking the northern tip of Roosevelt Island. On the other side of the island, the East River and Queens. That would be Queens, New York, the distance on your right. And on your left, in just a moment, now you'll see two bridges and flooding this area of Manhattan, but most of the flooding happened in lower Manhattan. You can see the beginning of the east side of Harlem. Harlem is the largest neighborhood in Manhattan. There are more apartment buildings, schools, churches, playgrounds, side streets than any neighborhood in the city. Continuing here from the east side, all the way to the west side of the Hudson River. You see the airplane taking off on your right? It's leaving. The rest of the boroughs are either islands or attached to islands. Brooklyn and Queens are attached.
This is the Bronx.
Quite a few bridges ahead of this one.
How good is that?
This is pretty telling. Look at it be fucking getting. We're going to be turning around to see. You never know. Okay, folks, it looks like you're going to get to see Yankee Stadium because it's coming up in just a moment ahead of us to the right. Just a few minutes. Smokestack with white paint around the smokestack. We used to call that smokestack, see?
Bronx. Manhattan.
A few years ago, thanks to New York Restoration Project and actor-singer Bette Midler and a team of volunteers, built it, brought it up, attached waterfront restoration project. Oh, hold up. Now I hope you've been counting bridges because they're moving. Longest street in America, Broadway. And this, of course, is the lowest clearance of any of our bridges at high tide. Sometimes we can Skyline, we'll take a look at Manhatten Island. And if we have a convertible, we have.
Ah, yeah.
That
Red Lighthouse and the Great Brick Bridge by Hildegard Smith.
These are all the metro trains parked outside of Central Station. Central Station is this building on the right here. This is an old warehouse by the harbour, the Hudson River.
What? There's no water. I must.
Trees growing on what was once a roadway. This is Chelsea. Standing on the bank of the Hudson River, and a lot of warehouses in the background there, and in front of me here is a children's playground right on the river, and in front of me is a walkway leading up to the new World Trade Center Tower. An apple. Natural grass and astroturf. This looks to be a high school.